Hi everyone, Coach Alexa here. I am back off a holiday today, and I always get interested when I fly. If I fly into a new country, you literally get that bird's eye view of the city that you're landing in. And one of the things I like to peer out the window to look for is to get an idea about what sort of sports are popular, because you can see, can't you, from above, the stadiums, the pitch layout for different types of sports and games, maybe some running tracks or velodromes from above. And it's an interesting perspective, I always find, when I visit a new country, to see what sort of sports and activities they are more interested in on there, that much more popular on television, and they're more interested in playing at school. And interested in nationally. So I visited a country recently, it wasn't America, where baseball unexpectedly was their most popular national sport. Certainly spotted all of the larger sports stadiums that I spotted were baseball stadiums. It certainly was the most popular sport when I had a quick browse around on television. And it got me thinking, because it was also the most popular sport you could see kids playing in sort of parks or, you know, in their school playgrounds. And it got me thinking because, you know, it sort of feeds, doesn't it, when you've got lots of kids at school that want to play that particular sport. You've got a big selection of younger people, and that's going to feed into, hopefully, a system to pick, gradually sort of whittle down and pick better and better youth players to go into potentially elite and national level teams for that sport. So we've got that predominantly. The biggest sort of setup around that is around football here in the UK. So I know at least three good friends who've got children who have been or are going through the football academy system, where you get picked up by sort of scouts watching school football matches, and you get sort of sponsored by teams, and you kind of get weeded out and go through a fairly challenging process to pick our potential elite level and professional footballers. And it ties in, doesn't it, because there's quite a lot of football on the television here in the UK. We've got that really great system for spotting potential future footballing talent from people at a young age, and that exists in a number of different sports in the UK. There's definitely systems in place within UK athletics, England, Scottish, Welsh athletics, etc. But not at the scale, anywhere near the scale that there is with comparison to football here in the UK. And it's interesting, isn't it, because I've seen sort of studies and research done into, you know, why is it that Jamaica produces great sprinters, and why is it that Kenya or Ethiopia produces great marathoners? And there's nothing in particular physical in terms of the difference between, you know, the type of person physically or physiologically that's being produced by those countries. It's more down to the fact that the sprinting scene at school level in Jamaica is massive. There's some wonderful videos of sort of a young teenage Usain Bolt at these. I mean, if you'd not known that it was basically a inter-school competition, you would have thought it was almost akin to the Olympics, the number of people there were watching it inside the athletics stadium and also watching it live on television. Basically an inter-school sprinting event was on national television. And it's similar in Ethiopia and Kenya, for example, when it comes to marathoning. So a lot of people at school want to be professional runners. There are lots of people that take their training very seriously for distance running at quite a young age. There's that program, there's that number of coaches and locations and setups, and now companies starting to sponsor things, pour more money in. So if you've got a bigger talent pool at a young age level, an entry level kind of age level into that sport, and you wheedle it down, you've got those good systems and setups in place, you're going to get a much higher number of elite level potential athletes to pick from when it comes to something like the National Olympic team. I think it's worth thinking about the other side of that coin when it comes to school sports, because it's absolutely not all about picking the next potential Paula Radcliffe or Mo Farah, is it? It's also, I think, about the value of sport to each of us individually, from a mental perspective, from a physical health perspective, and also it teaches us great stuff, doesn't it, about you know, being a team player, about getting out with the effort level that you put in, etc. And I firmly believe that there is a sport out there for everyone. So maybe this is a bit of a downside, isn't there, about focusing a lot more on one particular sport at a school level and at this sort of progression level up to elite sport. because it tends to kind of try and funnel us into a handful of sports at school, whereas I'm a firm believer that there is a sport out there for absolutely everybody. We just need to try enough to find it. Everything from curling through to sprinting through to, I don't know, Gaelic football, a huge amount of variety of different sports around the world. And wouldn't it be nice to kind of try loads of different things? My school experience was very much focused on sort of 2 or 3 key sports over the year. I wasn't very good at any of them because I'm not particularly well hand-eye coordinated, and running was basically used as what they made you do if you weren't good enough to do anything else. So as a result, I didn't do a lot of activity or exercise until I was sort of in my mid-20s, when I discovered the joy of running, and things have spiralled somewhat from there. But yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we all had the opportunity to try different things and find what is the best thing for us? One of the possible little silver linings of the COVID pandemic for me was that running for a time was probably one of the only sports you could do when the lockdowns were stricter and you were exercising solo outside. And it's nice that so many people discovered or rediscovered running in a positive way.